Are we on?
Now
we're on.
Now we're on.
All right, here we go. It's Thursday. Last night, Mike's on the mound. The Potties are up at bat.
Yeah.
Mike says they need something.
Yeah. The Potties, that's P-O-D, by the way.
Yeah.
Not
P-O-D-D-I-E-S.
The Potties.
The Potties are up to bat.
Right.
I decide to lob an underhand pitch.
Right. In trivia.
In Wednesday night trivia.
And it was, I don't even know if you could call that pitch. I almost felt like you put it up on the tee.
That's what I'm saying.
And just said, here.
Hit
I'm
this.
Go ahead and hit this.
Out of the park.
Yeah, it's all yours.
Hole in one.
Take it away.
In the net.
Yeah. And
I'm disappointed.
a couple did get the bat on the ball. In other words, they did correctly answer the trivia
there was
question.
a lot of foul balls.
But, boy, I thought that one, when I saw it, I was like, boy, Mike is really,
yeah.
you're really lobbing it there.
I was being a giver.
This is batting practice.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. And only a couple people were able to get
Figure
it into
this
the
out
outfield.
correctly. Yes. Yeah, we'll get to Wednesday night trivia. At least a couple people will get registered for the big drawing coming up tomorrow.
Right.
With Jordan Genso.
Who's
show
our
sponsor,
Yeah.
official Google Realtor, community realtor, community servant, and a community servant, community realtor.
It's one of those two.
It's
interchangeable, really.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
think it's
back and forth.
Yeah.
As far as we're concerned.
Well, yeah, of course. Also, today we're going to be talking with John O'Malley from Trinity Health Livingston Hospital, building their brand new hospital in Brighton. So we'll be talking about that.
We're applying for bricklayer positions for the new hospital.
Right. Rich Perlberg, we'll be talking with him as well.
And I was informed on what we're going to be talking about.
You want me to inform you right now?
That would be good.
We'll be talking about Supreme Court ethics.
There are none. Conversation over.
Okay. It's going to be a quick conversation.
Thanks, Rich. We don't even need to call you on that
I'm
one.
going to keep it real quick. So, yeah. That's,
ethics and politics.
yeah,
that's a good one.
That's on its way.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's coming up.
All right. Tuesday history.
We got that going for us.
and you push the on button, right?
I did.
All right. So we're good to go.
Yeah. We're good.
It's time for local news. Brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Don't forget Sunday is Mother's Day.
Absolutely. All right, here's what's going on. A South Lyon man was killed while riding his bike in Salem Township earlier this week. The Washtenaw County Sheriff's Office said 25-year-old Alex Gabriel Travis was killed Monday at about 1:30 in the afternoon on 8 Mile Road near Dixboro when he was hit by a truck going in the same direction. MLive reports that while Travis is from South Lyon, his girlfriend lives in that area. The truck's 28-year-old driver was questioned and released pending completion of the investigation. Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin announced Wednesday she has co-sponsored legislation to institute ethics reform at the U.S. Supreme Court. Very timely, I might add. Obviously, she knew that we were going to be talking with Rich Perlberg.
And that there's no ethics in
And decided I'm going to co-sponsor legislation to time with that interview with Rich.
people that do their work in a robe.
It's
Much like you might do now if you're working from home.
I guess when you put it that way, that makes a lot of
We
sense.
gotta rethink the uni.
I think that makes a lot of
saying.
sense. The Supreme Court Ethics, Recusal, and Transparency Act, known as SCIRT, they wear a robe, kind of like a skirt, would require the court to adopt an ethics code that would institute transparency standards on gifts and travel, codify recusal standards, and require disclosure of lobbying and dark money interests. The new code of ethics would hold the 9 justices accountable for any violations of those guardrails. Slotkin's announcement comes after media reports about undisclosed gifts and travel received by Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. In response to those revelations, the Senate Judiciary Committee has opened up an oversight investigation. In announcing the legislation, Slotkin noted that as the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court has to maintain the highest levels of transparency, and it's clear they have fallen short. And finally, when Judy Recker began coaching girls track and field at Fowlerville back in 1973, she could not imagine having the school's track complex named in her honor. These days, Fowlerville has a modern all-weather track separate from the football stadium and bleachers that were recently installed, so spectators no longer had to bring their own chairs to meets. The idea to name the complex after Recker was proposed by Reggie Talbot, owner of Reggie's Barber and Beauty Salon in Fowlerville. There was no figure in Fowlerville's track and field history more fitting for the honor. Recker's been part of the program in some capacity for 50 years, coaching the girls' team for 25 years and announcing meets for the last 25 as the voice of the Ville. Many former athletes attended a ceremony naming the complex after Wrecker Tuesday during a meet against Williamston. Some former athletes came from as far away as North Carolina flanking her, along with her family, while Talbot and athletic director Brian Osborne spoke. A board bearing her name with the school records and room to post meet results was also unveiled. Many of her former athletes are still on that record board. Wrecker graduated from Fowlerville in 1962, began teaching physical education in the school district in 1968. She has retired as a teacher, but has been the athletic director at the junior high school since 1995. So congratulations to Judy Wrecker. And that's what's going on.
And we're hoping to get a janitor's closet named after us. The Giggle Room.
That's true.
Something like that. Yes. News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Shop and win and save on pearls. Just in time for Mother's Day. Save $30 when you spend $200 or more. $50 when you spend $300. And $100 if you spend $500 or more at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. Plus, if you spend $300 or more, you get to reach in their hopper, which is very similar to our hopper, I might add.
That's true, although I think ours is bigger.
It's not the size of the hopper that matters.
Yeah.
It's that it hops.
That's true.
And it is hopping at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers as they do their part to support Main Street businesses in downtown Brighton due to the construction. They have these gift cards inside the hopper. If you spend $300 or more, you'll get a little bonus prize for Mom. So shop Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. Shop and win and save on pearls for Mother's Day at Cooper and Binkley Jewelers. So kind of a surprise as I wrote up last night's Wednesday night trivia question for a chance to qualify for more chances to win.
Right.
$100 in gift cards courtesy of show sponsor Jordan Gensel.
Who's
official
doing,
Giggle Realtor.
Right. Main Street May, highlighting different businesses on Main Street in downtown Brighton.
I really thought I thought we would be putting a lot of names into the entry.
Right. When I saw the question and answer, I was like, wow, okay. You're keeping it simple.
I thought that's because sometimes I get accused of trying to stump everybody, to being a stump meister.
Right. Now,
last night I said, no, let's be givers. Right. The question, brought to you by Firehouse Doors, OG sponsor, serving Livingston County with unparalleled service and products for over 25 years. According to the latest research, and this research could have been done over and over and over again and landed on our answer.
It often is.
Yes, it is. From top to bottom. Women who drink this put on less weight and are less likely to become overweight down the road.
Right. Right.
What is it that will help you to gain less weight and not put on more weight
right.
as time goes on?
Now, Mary had the obvious answer, water. Obviously, you should drink a lot of water, and that helps, keep your metabolism moving and all that. But that's too easy.
Many have said apple cider vinegar.
Right.
Have you ever tried that?
Maybe on salad.
Prune juice, said Andrew.
Well, that'll clean you out. Speaking of which, Lisa said a cleanse drink.
Carly said a bottle of booze. Just cannonball that sucker.
Yeah.
Cranberry juice, a pretty popular guess.
Tea.
Yeah.
Many people answered tea.
Tea and water, I think, were
right.
probably the top guesses. Somebody said milk.
Our friend Susie said gasoline. And she was questioned on that. Somebody said drink, and she goes, all the good ones were taken. So you will lose a lot of weight if you drink gasoline. I think so. In fact, you'll lose all of your weight when you drink gasoline.
Terry said Long Island iced teas.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you probably wouldn't remember what you drank after that. Laura Knight said tequila. Pineapple juice.
Right. Katie said Diet Pop.
I believe Brian was the first one with the correct answer from last night's trip.
I think you might be right on that.
Brian Piscini, congratulations.
Yeah.
Wine. Now everybody that answered it's going, wine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I should have said something along the lines of recent research conducted by Boone's Farm, Bartles and James, MD 2020. All the cheap wines you can find. But I believe Brian was one who got it right. Also, Alana guessed red wine. We would have taken that anyway since it's wine. But those are the only two that go into
I was surprised.
Our drawing on Friday, tomorrow. So I have one last chance. Do I underhand it again?
I don't know. Do you?
Do I lob it?
Because all the winners this week in trivia go into that hopper for the $100 in gift cards for downtown businesses, courtesy of Jordan Genso.
All right, so we'll get to that tonight for Thursday night trivia. Of course, trivia brought to you by Firehouse Doors, our OG sponsor, celebrating 25 years plus in serving Livingston County, family-owned and operated business, striving to treat each and every customer like family. Firehouse Doors is veteran-owned. Mike Witt, proud U.S. Air Force veteran, your one-stop shop for residential and commercial door needs, especially rolling steel overhead doors or
RSODs.
Thank you very much. For the past 22 years plus, Firehouse Doors has been Livingston County's only authorized distributor of CHI overhead doors. Call them today, 810-599-7480. We appreciate Firehouse Doors, our OG sponsor here on Mike and John. Got it going on.
Now, coming up, June 1st, Thursday. Of course, it's Mike and John night.
So that would be like 3 weeks from today.
Let's see,
Today's the 11th. Then you got the 18th.
21.
Then the 20, 26, 20.
Because,
yeah,
well, if you
it's
take
like 3 weeks
21
from
and you
today.
add 8, or no, today's the 11th.
Today's the 11th. That would be the 18th.
So that'd be the 30,
plus 7,
that'd be the
25th.
32nd. But I don't think there's a 32nd of May.
It would be the 1st of May.
No, that'd be the
1st of June. Yeah, June 1st is when it's coming up.
Or we could just look
3 weeks from today.
We could just look at the screen where it says June 1st at 6 p.m. at Eternity Brewing in Howell. It's Mike and John night.
It is. Are we going to be there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And, of course, it's to benefit the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It is Champions Night, so champions from last year's walk will be there. We just learned this week that our own Cougar
is one of the champions.
We always know it. We always knew.
Yeah.
Champion.
She's been a champion of the show every Monday.
And, of course, you'll have a chance to try out a Mike and John brew, which we're still got the poll up to determine, what is the Mike and John brew going to be. If you
Starts with a blonde ale.
Yeah, that's the base.
And
so if you go to mikeandjohnpodcast.com, you'll see the poll link there. Click it, and you can choose one of these 4 flavor combinations.
All right, and the cool thing is, if you want to join the Got It Going On team for the Walk to End Alzheimer's, we are going to have shirts available there.
Right.
You sign up, you get your shirt right then and there. If we don't have your size, we'll special order one for you.
Right, and all the proceeds are going to go to the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
It's going to be a good time for a great cause, so we hope to see you out there again. That's June 1st, a Thursday night, 3 weeks from today, May 11th.
Right.
How's that for math?
I think so.
Well, who's in the lead with our...
I'm trying to get those
especially
results.
After we had iCarly of Beers on yesterday, telling us that number 1 would have been her choice. And that one was... We almost wrote that one off. We'll see if it pulls in a little bit of a comeback after yesterday's interview with the beerologist.
The beerologist?
The beer and cheeseologist.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
My phone is slow.
Your phone's kicking in all kinds of pictures there as we speak.
Well, I looked earlier, and option 4, the lemon peach black tea, was in the lead.
I think you're putting a lot of propaganda out there for that.
That's my. All I'm saying is that's the one I prefer. But
every now and then he works in the number 4 in conversation. I don't know why. So I was outside looking at the driveway for no apparent reason.
Right.
But I felt like I should have a beer. Maybe number 4.
So anyway,
we're taking those votes through the 19th a week from today. Or
a week from today, yeah. As a matter of fact, and then we'll make the announcement on Friday.
All right. So get your votes in
next Friday.
Right?
Because
which will be the 19th.
Because Eternity Brewing needs time to then actually make the beer
and let it age properly.
Well, yeah, it's got to age properly.
Yes,
of course.
Speaking of aging, I was talking to somebody yesterday regarding AARP.
Okay.
And I was getting AARP stuff when I turned like 48, I think. Stuff in the mail to join and get my free trunk organizer, which is something. This is exactly what I need as a trunk organizer. You can use a milk crate.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but this one's an official AARP.
Well, nothing says I'm youthful and vibrant than having an AARP trunk organizer.
Ooh, your trunk's very organized.
Hey, ladies. Check it out.
So I have been reluctant to join, and I was almost AARP shamed yesterday because I hadn't joined, and I'm not getting these discounts on glasses.
Who was shaming you?
Hearing aids. I don't want to say, but
I think I know.
Glasses and hearing aids, and all the dinners at Denny's.
Well. You start getting the mailings at 50 because I think you
right. I got it before 50. That was the thing. I'm like, hey, can we wait up a little bit here?
Hey, not in any hurry. But
I still haven't joined because I'm in denial. I think is what it is.
I completely understand.
Have you joined and got your trunk organized?
I have not got my trunk. I have been offered a trunk organizer. Had I been offered a trunk organizer, well,
you might have rethought that.
I would have been all over that thing.
Why a trunk organizer? Is what I'm asking. Do seniors have crap all over their trunks? I mean, I think that starts at whatever age.
Maybe it's a different meaning for junk in the trunk.
You have senior junk in the trunk.
That's a whole different thing. You gotta go see the doctor.
Here's your Depend organizer.
I'm sorry, doctor. I got some junk in the trunk. I need a little help here. So yeah, we can always.
But I was AARP shamed yesterday.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Try and get past that.
Unknown caller.
All right.
We have an unknown caller, but I think we know who that.
We know who this is.
Is it John O'Malley?
Good morning.
Yes, it is.
All right, there we go.
Good morning, John.
Is Mike with you?
I'm here too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. Before we get into talking about the hospital, I have a question to ask you, John. I have no idea how old you are, but I was AARP shamed yesterday because I'm way past 50 and I have not signed up for AARP.
And he was talking about the fact that he got an offer for a AARP trunk organizer.
Yes, if I sign up.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, I did that a long time ago. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm up there, let me tell you.
So you're past 50 and did you get the trunk organizer?
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. Yep. Well, at least we know John has an organized trunk. And of course we're talking today because of the new hospital.
Yeah, excited. A lot of excitement going on about the new hospital.
Now, work is already underway, right?
Oh, God, yes, John. We've been, the Trinity Health system, we're a national health system, and, they approved it in December. And so we really couldn't do a whole lot before then because, the board might look at us and say, what are they doing? We haven't approved anything. So, yeah, we did a lot of planning, a lot of design, before they approved it. We were obviously hoping they would, and they did. And there's a lot of work on campus. If you've been by the campus, a lot of work out in front right now because we put in a ring road that'll go all the way around the campus. We're putting in walking trails. We're putting in new parking lots. So a lot of that activity is going to start to die down a bit because the new hospital, John, 174,000 square foot, is going to be located actually behind Trinity Health Medical Center, Brighton. So, pretty soon you're going to see minimal activity as if you're standing on Grand River looking at Trinity Health Medical Center, Brighton, out front. And because all the activity is going to be going on behind Trinity Health Medical Center, Brighton. So yeah, we're moving quickly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, dirt is being moved, as they say.
Oh, dirt, roadways, curbs, a lot of stuff. Asphalt's going down. Oh yeah, no, we're moving. We're moving. That's for sure.
And what's the new hospital going to offer that may be different from what's existing now?
Well, what we're doing here is we're going to still continue to offer. First and foremost, the new hospital and the renovated medical center. So I want to make sure, we are renovating Trinity Health Medical Center Brighton along with building the new hospital and connecting the two.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because one of the things I've heard from folks is they're like, well, what are they going to do with the existing facility? And I think some people thought, like, are they tearing it down? Or like, oh, no, that is remaining.
Well, so let me talk a little bit about Brighton Medical Center, the Trinity Health Medical Center Brighton, and then also about the new hospital. And then we can even talk a little bit about our existing hospital in Howell. The new hospital and renovated medical center will include 56 acuity adaptable beds. Now, I will have growth potential, so I could go up by additional 16 or perhaps even 24 inpatient beds.
Let me just explain what an acuity adaptable bed is.
So what we've done here is we're putting in acuity adaptable, what we call units or individual beds. And they're rooms with a treatment model that allows all stages of patient care to come to the patient's unit from time of admission to discharge. This minimizes the amount of transfers and helps decrease medication errors, infection rates, and essentially medical complications. So it's something that kind of like we come to you. Nice. You're not being shipped all over the facility.
So the room, obviously, it's right in the title. So the room itself can be adapted to whatever specific use that patient. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Absolutely, John.
Yeah,
it just makes total sense in this day and age. But what we're doing, we're going to continue to have our 18 existing short stay unit beds, which has helped out the increase in complexity and surgery that we've been doing. As an example, we've done now half a dozen radical prostatectomies for our urologists are really getting involved in bringing new services to the community, and that's one that you no longer have to go to or go outside the community. You don't have to go to Ann Arbor or wherever else. You can have that done right there. And that's what we're going to do as we move forward. We're going to continue to add services to the community that meet the need. Now, when I say meet the need, we're never going to do open heart surgery. Even though that may be a need, we're never going to do open heart surgery at Trinity Health Livingston Hospital. We're always going to get you safely to Trinity Health Ann Arbor to have that surgery done. So there are some things we're not going to have the capability of doing. Those are more tertiary or quaternary in nature, where our goal is full service community hospital, but always putting the patient first and foremost from a safety and high quality perspective. Now, other services, just real quickly, continuing with our expansion of primary care. Remember, we invested over $90 million with our IHA medical group. We expanded primary care services in Howell, East Brighton, Pinckney, South Lyon, Hamburg, Pinckney. So we really invested heavily like 5 or 6 years ago to do that. That really set us up nicely now to bring in the specialty and the subspecialists to begin to add those services. And we're going to add them slowly because we want to make sure that we do this in a very safe and high quality manner. So, but also, gynecological surgery, we've expanded. I mentioned urology, cardiology, intensive cardiac rehab has been huge. We have expanded orthopedics tremendously. A couple of new docs we have here that are fellowship trained, Dr. Harper and Dr. Lusak. Minimally invasive general surgery, bariatric surgery, and oncology. And our robot, our XI robot that we use for surgery, is one of the most used and efficiently used robot in Trinity Health. So we're really we're moving quickly to try to meet the needs of the community, John.
Yeah, and it sounds like, so the vast majority of what health needs for the community are going to be able to be carried out at the facility.
For the most part, yeah.
But as you mentioned, the Howell facility, what's the future of that?
Right, that's the next big question. I think people go, well, what's going to happen to the
and
many people remember this, of course, as McPherson Hospital. I mean, that's people that have that long memory, and they go, boy, what's going to happen to that facility?
Yeah, we are evaluating that, and I would say more to come. Remember, we just received approval in December, so but we're looking at different options, working with different organizations to see if we can bring, one of the big things out there is, well, we're so in desperate need of behavioral medicine. And, it's true, we are, but, we're going to be working with a number of organizations to see if we can bring some of those services here. So it could be anything, quite honestly, it could be anything from, we're going to tear it down and maybe sell it to a developer to build homes, to bringing additional, services to the community by partnering with with another organization. So we have to do our due diligence right now, and that's what we're doing to see what it is we can actually do here. But by no means are we going to, I know I've had a few folks in the community say, well, don't just leave and abandon it and it'll turn into, blight. That will not happen.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that happening, especially with the property value as it is now. I mean, that would be crazy.
Right. I mean, we might suggest if indeed you decide that you don't need it for medical purposes, maybe turning it into the Mike and John podcast headquarters.
We'd like top floor if you don't mind.
Well, we can maybe negotiate a deal
with a speedy elevator and a bat pole.
I believe Mike can trade in his trunk organizer if you'd like to. But I have no doubt that that's. I mean, like you said, if Trinity Health can find a feasible purpose for that to use within the system, I'm sure you will. Otherwise, that's some very valuable land, and it wouldn't just exactly. It wouldn't just go to blight.
Yeah.
Right. The other big thing we have to ask you about, obviously, is about a birthing center. This is something that is constantly brought up about. When or if there'll be a birthing center brought back to Livingston
I was going to say
County.
there was one, I rember, 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, many
maybe
years
a little
ago.
longer than that.
It's been a while. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, this was, let me put it this way, I guess. While the goal really was to bring back the birthing center, and trust me, I really wanted to bring the birthing. That was one of my goals when I first came here, 8 years ago. But after a great deal of research, the pandemic did allow us to kind of do some research, and we did that. We really dug deep, did our research, had a great deal of discussion. And plans for the new hospital no longer include a birthing center. Keep in mind, since 2010, the need for a birthing unit has really changed in this country. Birthing rates are on the decline across the country, and the number of births in the county is not at a level that can really support a fully staffed 24/7 birthing unit. Now remember, 24/7 birthing unit plus, I got to have others on call as well. So incredibly expensive for, the volume. But it's important to remember, setting that aside for a minute, that one of the reasons a birthing unit was closed in 2010 was because 2 out of 3 local mothers chose to deliver their babies outside of Livingston County, including many of our Trinity Health including many, at Trinity Health Ann Arbor. This led to many days in which the Livingston birthing unit delivered 1 or no babies at all. Now I'll tell you, we did a survey and of mothers of birthing age, and quite frankly, they indicated that they want to deliver at a NICU. So it'll mean neonatal intensive care unit. We'll never have one here. There's a phenomenal, nationally renowned NICU at Trinity Health Ann Arbor. So when you have 2/3, so if you just do the math, you've got 2/3 of the women wanting to deliver at a hospital with a NICU, which I understand. And then you have, a lot of other women who are delivering outside of a Livingston hospital anyway. You're left with not a whole lot of
financially it doesn't make sense from the hospital standpoint. Is there any talk of maybe doing some type of cancer research center with the older facility once that's kind of moved?
I mean, you've got the Hohenscheid Center in Brighton. Is that going to be expanded, or that's going to remain, of course?
We're expanding that as we speak. That is definitely, we are expanding it. It has been a huge benefit to this community. I'll give you a real brief story here, guys. I had a lady call me to thank me for that, the Hohenscheid Cancer Center being there, and we got to talking. She said she was a Michigan medicine patient who couldn't, and nothing against Michigan medicine, but they couldn't get in, and so they referred her to MD Anderson, and so she ended up going down to Texas, talking to the multidisciplinary team. And, they were asking her questions and said, I just don't understand why I can't stay somewhere where I live to get these services. And they said, well, where do you live? And they looked it up and said, oh, okay. I said, well, do you live near Brighton? She says, well, yeah, it's like, 10 minutes away. She says, everything we're going to do, you can get at Brighton. We're part of all the clinical trials. So we're part of that research that you mentioned already. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the community don't, they don't know that.
They're not aware of it, yeah.
Even some of the physicians don't know that or understand it. So, it's something that we're going to try to do a better job of making sure our community knows all of the services that we provide here locally so that, they and their families can stay here locally and get I'm not going to say all their care, but get the majority of their care here locally. It just makes total sense. The other thing I did want to mention, and it centers around our OBGYNs and our pediatricians here in Livingston County. The one thing we want to do is we want women here to be able to get all of their services with one exception, and that's the event of delivering. We would want you to go to Trinity Health Ann Arbor for your deliveries because we believe they offer with the NICU the services that you'd be looking for. Everything else, postnatal, overall women's health services, you should be able to get right here. We have outstanding pediatricians. We have outstanding OBGYNs, and there's no reason. And like I said, pre and postnatal, you should be here. You don't need to travel all over the world for those services.
Yeah, and obviously as the new hospital is constructed and comes online, and you sort of recenter everything to Brighton, places like the Hohenscheid Center and the other services that are already provided there are going to be, I think, come more into focus for people, and I think that's really going to become a real center for medical care.
Absolutely, absolutely, John. Yeah.
Well,
no question about it.
Now the hospital is, as you said, the work's already underway, but so it's 2025 is when it should be completed. That's still the expectation.
Yeah, I would tell you, John, probably towards the end of 25 calendar year, we will have it done and ready to open and better serve the community. We're obviously getting hit a little with inflation and material costs and things like that, like everybody else. So we're trying to manage that appropriately because, we are currently the low cost, high quality provider, and we want to remain that way. So we are really working hard to, again, bring the services the community needs here that will lead to us, generating the type of revenue that we can use we're nonprofit. We have to reinvest that right in the community. So we want to be successful so that we can reinvest in the community and add even more services. So it's, it's and we're moving in the right direction. We're doing well.
Well, John, you have an open invitation here on the podcast to keep us updated as things progress, and if there's some developments with the old McPherson Hospital, as folks like to refer to it. We'd love to have you back on and keep folks updated on the happenings here in Livingston.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Health.
Anytime, guys, and I'll work with Bobby. We'll reach out from time to time and get on the podcast and keep you and the community updated on how things are moving forward.
All right.
Sounds great.
Absolutely. John O'Malley, president of Trinity Health Livingston and Trinity Health Medical Center. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Have a great day, both of you, Mike and John.
Thanks, right. You too.
Guys going.
All right. Hey, keep your trunk organized, will you?
All right. I will.
All right. We, of course, are brought to you by Jordan Genso, community servant, community realtor, official Giggle Realtor, here with Mike and John. Got it going on. We appreciate Jordan's support. If you or somebody you know is looking to buy and or sell a new home, do you have us hooked up there with my phone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just checking because we're calling Rich Perlberg.
Okay.
I didn't know.
I'm here.
There he is.
There you are.
Rich Perlberg, are you wearing your judicial robe?
No. What I've been doing, oddly enough, is I was rearranging my trunk. I got this handy little trunk arranger.
You too? I haven't gotten one.
I haven't signed up for it yet. I've been shamed.
I feel left out.
Well, just so you know, I didn't realize this. I got my AARP catalog, and they have a special discount for for the cost of owning a Supreme Court justice.
Hey-o!
Apparently, spring is the time. You want to get the good rates now, because you get in the fall. First Monday of October, the rates go up.
Right. It's true.
So,
it's the new season, and at that point, the new models are in. And so,
no, really, honestly, I was surprised. Costco catalog came in, and they've got a special on Supreme Court justice.
How about that?
I didn't know it was so blatant.
All right. Well, that of course, I think you're leading into our topic today.
Oh, really? Is that our topic?
I thought so.
I'm glad you two knew this was the topic, because I had no clue. What else is in it?
You're sitting there saying, what the hell is he talking about? More than usual.
Obviously, the idea about Supreme Court justices and ethics and concerns about that have come into focus here in the last few weeks, most especially concerning...
Or as Clarence Thomas says, ethics methics.
Exactly. And, we just had a story, yesterday, Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin co-sponsoring some legislation that would institute some ethics reforms on the Supreme Court. I think there's a lot of people out there
that's so cute.
But I think there's a lot of people out there that are surprised to find out that there are literally no enforcement mechanisms on the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, when it comes to things like ethics. It's all been self-policed.
Well, and you would think it would just go without saying, but I think in
Good
today's
point.
day, you're a judge on the Supreme Court.
Right.
You would think you would have some ethics.
Well, I think there'd be a couple things. One is probably because of the separation of powers, there's been some reluctance to have one of the other branches have control over the judicial branch. So
who's going to enforce?
There could be some mischief.
Right.
But there's also, and I give Congresswoman Slotkin credit for trying to do something about it. But I mean, at this level, if you need an ethics code, you already got a problem. I mean, this stuff is pretty obvious, and if you look at it at all, these guys knew they were doing stuff that was sketchy because they hid it. Clarence Thomas had things he reported, and then all of a sudden wasn't reporting them, and it's pretty sleazy. There's just no way to get around.
Why stop at just the Supreme Court? You have the executive branch that you could police as well, which a lot of that we kind of
there are ethic codes.
There are, but it's like
but I don't know how effective they are. Okay, I mean,
right.
Let's have an ethics code for the mob. Okay, I mean, the mafia.
You got to wear a three-piece suit if you're going to be in the mob.
No, but
pinstripes.
But I think well, that's true. One way or the other. But the point is still the same in that there is an expectation. Well, that's not true. There's a hope,
an assumption.
You'd like to think. Let's put it that way. You'd like to think that people in these, especially in these top tier positions of authority,
critical,
would be under some sort of obligation. And I want to stress that word obligation. It can't just be the honor code. That's ridiculous. And frankly, they've displayed, and it's been an issue for a while. I mean, and it's easy to pick on these current batch of justices, and there's a lot to pick on. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, you can go back and see there, Abe Fortas, who was a Supreme Court justice back in the 1960s, he had to resign. It was done quietly, but he had to resign because there were some financial irregularities and money that he had received. And so this is nothing necessarily new or like, it only is just now has
that's
become,
what I'm saying.
Here's one of the problems I got with it, though. I mean, in this case, is the stories that have come out have been Clarence Thomas and also, I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name. Is it Gorsuch? Neil Gorsuch?
Yeah, Neil Gorsuch.
They're supposed to be top legal minds making decisions on important federal cases, and they can't figure out the problems of selling property to people who have at huge profits at people who have cases before you. That sounds to me like a very he sounds pretty obtuse if you don't see that problem.
I think
that guy, just because of stupidity, shouldn't be on the Supreme Court.
Well, I think exactly. I mean, I think when you have and even specifically to Clarence Thomas, where it extends beyond any kind of It defies credulity, as they say.
No, there's not even. I don't know how they got all these things. I guess text messages and stuff. But people are literally funneling money into his wife's
not just
business.
people. Well, you're talking about Gorsuch, but I mean, when you think about Clarence,
no, I was talking about Thomas.
Oh, okay.
Jenny Thomas's company got a bunch of money from a conservative who's trying who's spending millions to reshape the federal court system, and he sends a bunch of money through a nonprofit.
Are you talking about Harlan Crow?
No, I'm talking about a different one, Leonard Leo.
Oh, I'm sorry. We've gotten our billionaires mixed up.
No, the guy, and he went through Kellyanne Conway of all people, and said send another 25,000 to Jenny, but of course don't mention her. Don't mention her.
Well, no,
I mean they're basically saying here's how we get money to a Supreme Court justice. We funnel it through the job his wife has. And do it.
Right.
Now, Harlan Crow is a whole different matter, which is so. Plus, it's a great name.
Well,
Harlan
not only
Crow,
is it a great name, Harlan Crow. I mean, first of all, this guy he would be a Batman villain.
Exactly.
I would
Harlan
say
Crow.
Harlan Crow, this guy who is...
I don't know. I think he's an Iron Man villain.
Either way, he's somewhere in the Marvel universe. He's in the MCU somewhere as a villain. I mean, and this is a guy who collects Nazi memorabilia, including, Hitler's personal linen, which I'm like,
but he puts them in a trunk that's well organized.
Right,
okay?
right.
I keep trying to come around to that.
Thanks, Rich.
So this is where and this is the guy who, he bought a house for Clarence Thomas's mother. He's funneling money to
he's funneling $6,000 a month tuition.
Right.
This is a
for
nice
a guy
man.
for a guy who came out of
He's helping out a fellow American who's down on his luck.
But do you see the irony in all this? He's Clarence Thomas is accepting money from a guy who has cases before the Supreme Court.
That
to pay for $6,000 a month tuition, and Clarence Thomas is the guy who goes out and goes is adamantly opposed to affirmative action. What's more affirmative action than getting that type of payment? Who spends $6,000 a month to go to school?
Right. I mean, and it's so obnoxious. Now, I mean, it's not just like whispers behind. It is so out in the open, so obnoxious.
Well, then the transparency's there if we know about it, right?
Okay.
What do we
We're just going to transparently.
But now here's the problem. In Clarence Thomas's defense, he's living hand to mouth. He only makes $274,000 a year.
It's a tough game.
You know, the good part is he doesn't have to buy clothes. He's already provided with the robe. Do they get wigs too? They really.
Well, you know what I'm thinking, and I think I mentioned that when we were talking about this, is that they should take the lead from NASCAR and put little logos and decals on their robes about who owns them.
I like that. Yeah.
You think about guys like Harlan Crow. He goes to one of his billionaire club meetings, and people are bragging about the senators they own. He goes, "Senators? That's so cheap. I own a Supreme Court justice."
Yeah. You go sit at the kids' table. This is for the guys that own judges.
Yeah. But it's pretty serious. I mean, it's just so blatant and how.
So we've identified.
I don't think the ethics code is going to do anything.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, do you think this will pass, or even if it does, is it going to do anything? Because you have guys, like you said, men and women that may be in somebody else's pocket voting on this. So are they going to vote for that transparency?
Oh, they'll vote for it, but you know what? There's not an ethics code that somebody can't get around. In fact, they'll probably find one of these firms who will do pro bono work for them to how to get around the ethics code. I mean, there's already some codes that Thomas has ignored. So I don't know how you do it. Other you have to depend on the honor of the people involved.
Oh well, then we're screwed.
And we call them your honor.
That's my point. I get a little negative.
Do we really call them your honor when you walk in?
Maybe from now on at the Supreme Court, when they address the justices, when they say your honor, they use finger quotes. Your honor.
Do I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? How about you, Judgy Wudgy? Come on.
I throw myself on the mercy of the court. It's a small target, but I think I can.
All right. Well, I think we've accomplished our mission, which is we've solved nothing.
Can I give you guys a little plaudit though? I mean, I think you broke some news with John O'Malley on the birthing center,
Making it definitive, definitively saying there's not going to be a birthing center. It had been floated, and then it was kind of off the table, on the table.
Yeah, but I think they saw so little use of it, as he said, when it was here.
Right.
And as an aging community, I don't know if it's, and that was one of the things I wish we would have got to is the community getting any younger?
Not so much so, but when I was on the Howell Hospital board, they tried like crazy to increase their birthing center use, and it just didn't happen. People went to Southfield, Ann Arbor, even Milford and Flint. And I like John O'Malley. I think he's been a great asset for Livingston County, and he's one of the reasons is he's pretty candid. He was open with you guys about stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's one of those questions that has come up time and time again, and I think we can, he put it to bed in the sense of it's just not on the table, and I think for reasons that anyone rationally can understand, it just doesn't make any financial sense to do that.
The public has made its decision. They go elsewhere for whatever reasons, and we had. Both of our boys in Ann Arbor, but the second one had jaundice and had to go to the hospital in Howell. And when we were there, he was one of only 2 kids in the whole birthing center. So you just can't make numbers like that work.
No, and you can't be everything to everybody. That's the thing.
Nope. Anyway, I just thought it was a good interview. So nice job, you guys.
Well, thanks, Uncle Rich.
All right,
we'll talk to you again next week.
That trunk organizer really paid off.
And my consulting bill will be in it.
Okay,
give him another address. All right, Rich. We'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Always a lot of fun with Rich Perlberg as we roll on for this Thursday. Today is May 11th.
It's an 11.
Yes. It's Eat What You Want Day.
All right, then.
But control yourself, for gosh sake.
In America, that's pretty much every day.
It's Root Canal Appreciation Day.
Well, see, you're eating everything you wanted. Now
That's
you
what
got to
happens.
root canal.
You got to brush.
Yeah.
And it's Twilight Zone Day.
We can all hear that music right now.
Yeah, we can. Although the Twilight Zone came later, they had the Twilight Zone Day before the Twilight Zone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes,
I
did.
didn't know that.
Pre-Twilight Zone, yes. And I think a lot of people's favorite is the William Shatner one.
With the creature on the wing.
Yeah, now he's taking people to Mars, so that's Shatner's still going at
that guy, man.
Yeah. 1607, the first permanent English settlement was founded in America at Jamestown.
On a swamp.
Yes. Guy named Jimmy.
That's right. Well, it's King. King James.
James King.
King
James.
James King.
James King. You know James King. He owes me money.
King James? King James?
King James owes me money. 1751.
LeBron was it? What?
1751, the first U.S. hospital was founded in Pennsylvania.
Well, now, come on.
Did we time that
we
better?
Nailed that interview.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was on this day in 1812. The waltz was introduced into English ballrooms. Most observers considered it disgusting and immoral. Sexual, if you will.
What?
None of this
There'll
waltzing.
be no
you know what that
waltzing?
lead to? A birthing center in Howell. The waltz. Now, is there anything more boring than the waltz?
But they're touching. They're touching hands.
Oh, she's showing ankle.
He's got his hand on her hip.
What? None of that.
Yeah.
1916, Einstein's theory of how to make bagels. Einstein's theory of general relativity was presented on this day.
Yes.
How to make bagels. Where'd that come from?
Einstein bagels. I got it. I got the joke.
1947, tire maker. Wouldn't you like to be a tire maker?
Yeah.
Tire maker B.F. Goodrich announced the development of the tubeless automobile tire.
Huh?
You therefore did not have to buy the inner tube.
Right.
Try and put it inside the rubber tire. That was like double rubber. I knew you'd.
Another reason why we don't have a birthing center.
Got to double up. Is that a Goodrich? Oh yeah, it is.
Have the double rubber. Nothing's getting through.
Settle down, fella. Grow up a little bit.
Now I try.
1947, for the cost of $89.95 plus tax, you could have bought the first Polaroid camera. It was sold 1949.
Yeah.
$90.
Wow. Which would have been a pretty hefty price in 1949.
Harlan had one of those, didn't he?
Oh, sure he did.
And finally, in 1997 on this date, an IBM computer named Deep Blue, not Big Blue, Deep Blue, beat world chess champ Garry Kasparov and won the 6-game match between man and machine. Kasparov got upset, started throwing rooks. I don't know if he did or not, but it sounded... Dang, stupid computer. It's kind of what we do now when the computer fails.
No, not the bishop.
And that is your 2 cent history lesson for today.
Learned so much.
I think we did. Yeah. Einstein's theory of how to make bagels.
That's true.
Waltz's Dirty Dancing.
Oh, my God.
I think we did learn a thing or two.
Supervillain Harlan Crow.
Yeah, got that.
All there. Also there, by the way, westbound 96 right before D19.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah. Our billboard, of course.
The sun was coming up.
Yeah.
There we were.
It's quite a beautiful sight.
Yeah.
Thought I'd mention that.
Bought and paid for that.
Little self-service.
Mike and John billboard.
That's true.
It's a tourist attraction that's going to be around through the summer.
Oh, my gosh.
Make sure you see that.
Yeah, but be careful. We don't want the crowds to accumulate and back.
Yeah, well, sure we do. We're selling speed passes
right.
to check it out.
Right. And trunk organizers.
Sure.
Don't forget to get your new Mike and John trunk organizer. Go to the merch store at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. You can search for it. You won't find it. But
if there's enough demand.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Nikki will design one for us.
Well, sure. Sure, Nikki's listening going, what the hell?
It's actually just
what do I have to do now?
Yeah. It's a bag with handles on it.
Trunk organizer.
Or perhaps an old milk crate.
This is just a Meyer bag. What the hell?
Box. Yes.
So, yes, don't forget to get your merch, mikeandjohnpodcast.com. All right, we had a pretty good show.
You think so?
Yeah.
Ahead,
Rich even approved.
It's Rich approved.
It's Rich approved. I mean, you know.
Little blue ribbon on us.
Yeah, boy, I don't know how you can do any better than that.
Well, I can tell you, if you're having car trouble, you can't do any better than Murphy's Family Auto. Was that smooth or what?
Very smooth.
Transmission trouble? Tires going whoop, whoop, whoop. You got to get that checked out. Maybe you're out of a line. I'm out of a line.
You're out of a line.
Well, get back in
line. We're all out of a line.
Get back in line
at
Murphy's Family Auto. Take care of all your automotive needs, electrical, transmissional. If your trunk is disorganized, that's on you.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe it can help.
Stop by. They're open Saturdays for your convenience, too, from 8 to 1. Call today, Murphy's Family Auto, 517-552-3040.
Or online, murphysfamilyauto.com. All right. We're back tomorrow.
I thought we did such a good job today. We'd give ourselves tomorrow off, but we can't.
But no, because we have to do a drawing tomorrow.
Yes, we do.
We'll draw for the $100 of gift cards to downtown Brighton businesses. We'll also talk with everyone's favorite great-grandma, Bonnie Runyon. We'll check in with Rhonda at Torch. So
they've got open mic day coming up Saturday. We'll find out more about that.
Have you been working on your act?
My act needs a lot of work.
Well, it's just based on the last 45 minutes here.
It's a lot of work.
Okay. All right. We'll see you Friday.
You've been giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.